Hi everyone, welcome to Cooking with Chef Rich. Today we're going to be doing a complete Middle Eastern dinner featuring Zaatar-Crusted Chicken. We're going to make some Tabouleh, some either fritash salad or sometimes called Israeli salad. We're going to make a white bean with caramelized onion and black olive hummus. And we're going to make some tahini dressing. So let's jump right in. First thing that we're going to work on is our Zaatar-Crusted Chicken. I have over here 2.5 pounds of boneless chicken thighs that I've trimmed. And I have over here about 3/4 pound of chicken breast because my cameraman David likes breast over thighs. So we're making 2 types, which is cool. The breasts, we're gonna just actually cut right in half. So it's kind of like a thin cut breast, like so. Do the same with this one. Give her a long piece of plastic wrap, like so. We're gonna pound these just a little bit. Reason why you pound things, 2 reasons. One, it tenderizes, tenderizes the meat, but also cooking time. By pounding it, you're making it more even and therefore has an equal cooking time as opposed to a fat piece will cook slower than a thin piece. Wherever it's thicker, I'm gonna hit it harder. Where it's less thick, I'm gonna hit it lighter. And I also use this side of the mallet because this is what tenderizes the meat. It breaks up any tissue or anything that may have. So we'll have a nice even cooking time, which is what you want. So over here I have 3 cups of breadcrumbs. If you want to use panko, you could do like 1.5 cups of regular breadcrumbs, plain, unseasoned, and 1.5 cups of panko. If you want to do that, by all means you can. This is just unflavored breadcrumbs. I have 3 cups. And I'm going to go with a 1/2 cup measure of zaatar. Zaatar is a Middle Eastern spice. It's made with ground sesame seeds and sumac and a couple other ingredients. So I'm going to put 1/2 cup of Zaatar seasoning in there. I am also going to put a teaspoon of garlic powder. And over here I have 1 cup of flour. I'm also going to put a teaspoon of garlic powder in here. I'm going to put a teaspoon of black pepper in both. 1, 2. And a teaspoon of salt in both. We're going to give this a mix. This is just regular all-purpose flour. And in here, I actually want to put a 1/4 cup of black and white sesame seeds. Over here, I have 6 eggs, and we're just going to beat them really well. And we're going to do what we call a standard breading, which is flour, egg, breadcrumb. So I'm about to bread this. As I'm breading it, let's just talk for a minute. We're going to dip it in flour, coat it, get some of the flour off, drop it in the egg. 1 hand for egg, 1 hand for breadcrumbs. After this is breaded, you can do one of 3 different things. Classically, this is deep fried, okay? Either deep fried or at least fried in oil. If you're more health conscious, which I generally am, I try not to fry things. That means either you can bake it in the oven or put it in an air fryer. If you have an air fryer that's big enough to hold the amount of food that you're doing, that works more than fine. And by all means, just throw it in the air fryer until it's fully cooked. And I'm sure it'll come out delicious. If you don't have an air fryer, but you don't want to fry it, which we're not, just bake it at a relatively high temperature. The higher, like I'm putting in, I think, a 400 degree oven, which I'm actually going to change to 4.25 in a minute. I'm going to put it in a 425 degree oven. And because it's like a higher temperature, what it's going to do, it's going to crisp up the breadcrumbs a little bit. So that works. Now you'll notice that if you look closely, everything's nice and coated evenly. They're relatively the same thickness, which is what you want. And it's coated, like you don't see spots of chicken. So you want to get everything. And I'm going to finish breading this and I'll show you what it looks like. Finish breading all of our chicken. What we're going to do is we're going to put this in a 425 degree oven. Cook it till 165 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. So now we're going to start on our tahini dressing. I have 1/2 cup of water and 2 cloves of garlic. We'll put this in our food processor. Puree our garlic, and now we're going to add some tahini. Try not to make too much of a mess, which I'm very good at. So to our tahini, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, a teaspoon of salt, and put back out the mix. So if you look at this, I just tasted it. It doesn't taste bad, but it's very thick. It doesn't look like the sauce. So right now we're just going to add another 1/4 cup of water. And see how that does for our sauce. So this is definitely better consistency-wise. I'll just take a taste. You can use just a drop of lemon juice. I'm actually going to just put maybe 2 teaspoons of lemon juice in here. Actually, we'll make it a tablespoon. 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Try that again. Good taste. That's pretty good. All right. We got plenty of tahini. Now the beautiful part about this is we're going to be making hummus. One of the ingredients in hummus is tahini, so we don't even have to wash this. So this we'll put aside, and we'll go on to our hummus. So the first step of making our white bean with caramelized onion and black olive hummus is we have to soak our white beans overnight. So what we're going to do is I have 1 pound of cannellini beans. We'll put them in a pot. I am going to add to this 1 teaspoon of baking soda and then cold water up until the top, and you'll see that by tomorrow morning they will expand dramatically. So your beans have to soak for a minimum of 8 hours and up to like 12 to 15 hours, which is fine, but you'll notice how much water they absorbed. So what we're going to do now, actually just a quick note, if you're in a rush and you don't have 8 to 12 hours, what you can do is if you only have 2 or 3 hours, put them up to soak with the baking soda and put warm to hot water in, and they will absorb the water a lot faster, probably like within 3 to 4 hours, which I've done before when I've forgotten to soak them the night before. So anyway, what we're going to do now is I'm going to drain this. I am going to rinse it off very well, add another teaspoon of baking soda, and put it up to cook. So I'm adding my teaspoon of baking soda to this, and I'm going to cover this with water, probably about up to here. So you notice that I changed pots into a bigger pot. What's going to happen is I'm going to be putting this up to cook right now. Because of the baking soda, it's going to foam up. And if you don't watch it, it will foam up and make a big mess over your stove. So you really do have to watch it. When it starts to foam, I will show you exactly what it looks like so you know what you're looking for. So this is just coming up to a boil. You can see it's starting to boil over here, but you see it's foaming up. I turned it down because I didn't want it to go over. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this. This is just all garbage. You really don't want this going over onto your stove because it does make a horrible, horrible mess. It's happened to me a couple 100 times in my life, and it's not fun. The other thing that you want to do is you want to stir these, and every couple minutes you just want to keep an eye on it because this will foam up for a little while. Eventually the foaming will stop, and then you just want to simmer the beans, but you do want to watch it to make sure it doesn't foam over. So our white bean hummus has been simmering probably for about a half an hour, at least maybe 45 minutes, and you'll notice that it's starting to get soft. It's breaking apart. You want to make sure that it actually crushes easy with a spoon. Yeah, probably a little bit more, because when you puree, you want like a nice smooth hummus. You don't want it to be chunky. You could use canned beans, but very often that gets a little grainy. So by cooking it fresh, you'll avoid that. So we'll let it go for probably another 10 more minutes. About a pound. This is about a 1 pound onion. I'm just going to take out the core over here. And we're going to be putting this in the Cuisinart later. So you just want to slice it relatively even. And we're going to be sauteing this, or caramelizing it, I should say. We're going to add just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil to this. So we're going to add just a bit of olive oil, not too much, just probably plenty. I'm going to put it on high heat to start. And once it starts to simmer, I'll turn it down to medium low heat, just so it doesn't burn. So our hummus, if you look at it, is nice and squishy now. Squishy being an official culinary term. If you look at it, it breaks up easy, which is what we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to strain this. We're going to try to get some of the water out. Not going to get all the water, but at least some of it, hopefully. And if you look at it closely, it's kind of already like breaking apart, which is what you want for this. Just keep stirring until you get most of the water out. So I drained the hummus, and what we're going to do is we're going to try to get this in here without making too much of a mess, like I've been doing all night, everything. You do want to puree this while it's still hot. When it cools down, you tend to get it gets very grainy. So you do want to puree it while it is still hot. And basically, you make the hummus fully, and then put it out flat on a sheet pan to cool it. Also, our caramelized onions are done. I'm going to start with half. I'm afraid that might be too much in there. We are also going to put in here 2 cloves of garlic, a 1/3 tablespoon of tahini. We're going to put a 1/3 cup of lemon juice, and we're going to put a teaspoon of salt. And put up the mix. So this was just mixing. It's a little bit loose. So to fix that, I'm going to add just maybe a tablespoon of tahini, 1 large teaspoon, or tablespoon I should say. Another 1/2 teaspoon of salt we're going to put in. But also we want to add some more lemon. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Tastes good. Last thing we're going to do is I have a 1/2 cup of black olives. I'm going to drop it in. I don't want to puree it a lot. I just want to puree it a little bit. This should be good. Alrighty. I'm going to put this out to cool, and I'll show you what it looks like in a few minutes. So the next thing that we need to make for our Middle Eastern meal is some tabbouleh. Tabbouleh uses a grain called bulgur wheat. So the ratio of bulgur wheat to water is 1 cup of bulgur wheat to 1.5 cups of liquid. For the liquid, I want 1.5 cups in total. I have 1.25 cups of water, and I have 1/4 cup of lemon juice, making it a total of 1.5 cups. What we're going to do is I'm going to bring this to a boil. I'm going to rinse this with in a fine strainer, and I'll show you what to do as soon as this comes up to a boil. So our cup of tabbouleh, I rinsed it. This just came up to a boil, and what we're going to do is we're just going to pour this over, very simply. We're going to give it a very, very quick mix. And lastly, but very, very important, so bulgur wheat is similar to rice in that it absorbs water, but it doesn't have to cook like rice. So once this comes up to a boil, we're just going to cover this very, very tightly, like so, and let it sit for about 10 or 15 minutes. And the bulgur wheat's going to absorb the water and pop up. So our tabbouleh, or bulgur wheat, has been sitting for about 15 minutes or so. And you notice that it has absorbed all the water. Just going to take a little taste. Cooked, very good. Actually, there's still a little bit more water in there, but that's all right. I think before I use it, I'm probably actually going to squeeze it out because you don't want to have too much water. We're going to let this cool and go on to our next thing. Okay, so now we're going to make our tabbouleh. Tabbouleh, we have 1.25 cups of parsley, chopped fine. We have 1 cup of scallion, chopped fine. Have a 1/2 cup of mint, chopped fine, or actually sliced, I should say. We have 2 cups of bulgur wheat. We have 2 cups of tomato. 1/4 cup of diced cucumber. And to this, we're going to be adding a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Just a little bit of olive oil. Once again, just really for shine. We're going to add a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of black pepper, and a teaspoon of cumin. And I made a mess as always. I'm very good at making messes, I really am. Give it a really good mix. I always tend to mix things more than what you would think. That way they're really totally mixed through. Take a little taste. That's good. Put it in a bowl, and I'll show you what it looks like in a few minutes. So for our potash salad or Israeli salad, I have 2 cups of finely diced peppers, 2 cups of finely diced tomato, 2 cups of finely diced cucumber. I have a 1/4 cup of scallion, 1/4 cup of cilantro, 1/4 cup of parsley, and a 1/4 cup of red onion. And very simply, I'm going to throw it all into a bowl together. To this, we are going to add a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of black pepper, just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, not too much, just gives it a little bit of shine. We are going to throw a glove on and give a really good mix. So our Middle Eastern dinner is now ready to serve. I took just some of our cutlets. You can see that they actually toasted up nicely in the oven. We have our tahini. We have our white bean, caramelized onion, and black olive hummus. We have our tabbouleh, and we have our potash salad or Israeli salad. And I'm going to put together a plate, and I'll show you what it looks like in a minute or two. So I put our food on a plate so you can take a look at it. We have our chicken cutlet, our tabbouleh, Israeli salad, white bean hummus, pita bread, and some tahini on our chicken cutlet. So, really, really, really good. Just out of curiosity. Israeli salad's really good. And tabbouleh. So in the Middle East, they use a lot of lemon in their food. So it actually all goes really well because it's all very, very lemony. Not very lemony, but it has a nice lemon flavor. If you don't like lemon, you will probably not like this meal. If you do like lemon, you will love this meal. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next video, and take care, everyone. Be well.